Hey y'all, so today I recorded my go-to eyeshadow look that I feel like anybody can do with any colors and any palette. But I feel like every woman should have their go-to look that they know that they can do in about 10 minutes when they're in a rush and they got to get out the door, but they still want to look glammed up. So those last minute date nights with your boo thing, your husband, your whoever, whenever, whatever, for the weekend or whatever. But take a look at it. Let me know what you think. All right, so as you can see, I've already primed my lids with my concealer or eyeshadow primer, whichever one you use. Now I'm going to take my Laura Mercier setting powder and I'm just going to set that primer. I add a little bit of the setting powder using my Real Technique setting powder brush. At the same time I'm adding this, I'm also sweeping it away. And this is just to make sure I don't have any creases in my eyeshadow. And it also kind of helps your eyeshadow stick a little bit better and pop more. Then I'll go into my transition color. Now I'll start my transition color. And the first color I'm going to use is MAC Saddle. And I like to start by putting this color on right underneath my eyebrows. I try to start it right underneath the concealer that I used under my brow bone. And one good thing I like about this MAC brush, this is the 224 brush, is it's pointed. You can't really see it in the video that much, but it allows me to put that color exactly where I want to go. And then I just use some circular sweeping motions to get it on there, obviously doing the same thing on both sides until I get it to the color and as blended out as I wanted it to be. Trying not to take away from my actual concealer that's under my brow bone because I kind of like that look of that. Makes it look like my eyebrows been freshly arched. Afterwards, I use my MAC color Brown Script. That's going to be my second transition color. And I take that color and I place it right on the crease of my lids. And again, after I clean my brush, I try to go right there on the crease exactly where I want it to go, and I try to blend it in as much as possible, but not taking away from my additional transition color. And that just kind of gives your eyes, like I said, a little bit more depth, so it doesn't look too flat. And I blend those two colors in to exactly where I want to go. Do the same thing on both sides, people. Too easy. Blending is key, honestly. And then I make sure I don't have too much coming up from under there. Wipe that off. Now I'm going to use this MAC color called Dance in the Dark. That's in a quad palette that I have. I don't know how I ended up with it, but here it is. And this is what I use. One of the main colors I use out of there is this one. And I'm going to take that color and I'm going to put it on the outside of my eyelids, right there in that V. And I'm going to make a V as well. Just like that with the same brush. But obviously I clean it off in between using my Sephora brush cleaner. It dries really quick, so I don't have to worry about the brush still being wet as I'm doing this. Create a V, kind of making like a pocket for where I want my eyeshadow to go. Afterwards, I'm taking the MAC 239 SE brush. It's a smaller brush that I got in a holiday collection. And I'm going to take that brush along with a loose pigment called Star Dream that I have from MAC as well. And I make sure I spray my brush. I use the Color du Jour setting spray. And I take that and I'm going to put that I start in the center of my lid. Always start in the center. If you wet your brush, it kind of helps with so you don't have too much fallout. So that's why I like to wet my brush first. And I'm going to put that right there. Like I said, I start in the center of my brows using a patting motion initially just to get it on there. And then I'll use kind of a sweeping motion just like that after I get it exactly where I want it to be. And I'm going to take that color all the way out to that V that I created using the Dance in the Dark. Sometimes I struggle, so every now and then I'll just kind of pull to make sure I get it on exactly where I want it and smooth it out. That's another good thing about using it while your brush is wet, because it gives it a more cream consistency. So it's a lot more manageable when you use a wet brush. And obviously, do the same thing on the other side. I start at the center of my lid and I work my way in. And I know it looks crazy right now. Well, not crazy. It kind of looks more like a cut crease, which is not what I'm going for. But this is how it'll start off until we blend it in. Just pat that color on initially until you get it to where I get the amount on that I want. And I try to make sure that I go all the way up on the same side, on the same look on each side. And then I also want to make sure that I don't stop it too short. I try to make sure I bring that color, that pigment, all the way out to where I created that V. So that way my eyeshadow doesn't look like it's just packed, like, in the center of my lid. Definitely want to bring it all the way out into that V that I created. Just like that. See that? Nope, not too short. Bring it all the way out. And now once I've done that, I'll take my MAC brush again. Once it's been cleaned again, I clean it a lot and often. I'm just going to blend those two colors together. But this brush is clean, so I'm not worried about any of that dark color. That's something in the dark, taking over. I'm just going to blend it with a clean brush. It doesn't have to be this brush. Like I said, this is just my go-to look. So that's why I'm using this same brush. Because if I'm on the go, if I'm staying at a hotel, if I'm out of town somewhere, I can do this look with one brush. And I'll just try to make sure it's blended out on both sides. But it's not so much so that I lose my colors and not my transition colors either. You just got to be... One good thing I like about this brush, which I've already said, it's very, very pointed. So you don't have to worry about it, taking away from your colors too much. So I definitely recommend this brush if you don't have it, or something similar to it instead of one that's just a blender brush that's kind of flat. Now I'm going to add my eyeliner, which I've shown you guys how to do before, but I'm going to use a different one. I have a Lancome eyeliner that I'm going to try out. And you guys know how I'll put that on. And now I'm going to do something that I haven't shown you guys how I do. I prime my bottom lashes, using my L'Oreal Voluminous Primer. And I'm just going to take whatever mascara I have. Same thing for you guys. Whatever mascara you have, just put that on top of it the same exact way. And just kind of make your bottom lashes pop a little bit more. I added my falsies already, which obviously were my Lily lashes. Those are my absolute favorite. And I always have a set of those. That's my go-to. If you don't have lashes, that's fine. But here it is. This is my final look. It's real quick, real easy. Hope you guys liked it.